Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. President Donald Trump has said that he backed the Iran peace deal to avoid what he called an economic catastrophe. Speaking at the G7 summit in France, Trump argued that markets responded positively to prospects for peace. On the Lebanon conflict, Trump said Israel could take a softer approach and urged Benjamin Netanyahu to show more restraint. He also thanked Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin for what he described as their neutrality during the conflict with Iran. He said both leaders helped ease tensions as world leaders welcomed the new ceasefire agreement. US President Donald Trump has warned that the recently announced ceasefire understanding with Iran is not yet final and could unravel if negotiations fail. Speaking at the G7 summit in France, Trump described the agreement as a memorandum of understanding and said the United States could resume military action if it is not satisfied with Iran's conduct. The remarks underscore the fragile nature of the emerging agreement, even as both sides continue efforts to move toward a formal peace deal. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghaei has said that plans remain unchanged for Friday's meeting in Switzerland, where a ceasefire memorandum is expected to be formally signed. The comments come after President Trump said the agreement is not yet final and warned that military action could resume if negotiations break down. A $300 billion private sector investment fund is part of a US-Iran framework agreement aimed at supporting reconstruction and incentivizing a final peace deal, a source told Reuters. The source said more than $150 billion has already been committed across energy, infrastructure, logistics, and manufacturing projects spanning 5 regions, with participation from companies in the US, Gulf states, Asia, and beyond. The fund, which contains no government money, would only become operational once a final agreement is signed and is separate from talks on sanctions relief and frozen Iranian assets. Responding to rumors, President Trump said the reports of a $300 billion fund for Iran are false. Speaking at the G7 summit, he, however, said that the US would not stop others from investing in Iran. He also made it clear that the Memorandum of Understanding did not include immediate sanctions relief for Iran. Later, speaking at a bilateral meeting alongside Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Trump took credit for the deal and said that no one but him could have secured the interim agreement with Iran. Leaders of the G7 nations have called for a ceasefire in Lebanon and welcomed progress toward an interim agreement aimed at ending the conflict involving Iran. Meeting at the G7 summit in France, leaders also pledged to diversify global energy supply routes to reduce reliance on the Strait of Hormuz, a key artery for international oil shipments. The discussions come as details of a US-Iran ceasefire arrangements continue to emerge ahead of its expected formal announcement. G7 leaders say they remain united in support of Ukraine, reaffirming its territorial integrity and agreeing to increase pressure on Russia's war economy. In a joint statement, the leaders said they will strengthen sanctions, including measures targeting Russia's oil and gas sectors. The announcement came during a summit in Evian-les-Bains, France. The G7 also welcomed a US-Iran deal and said it is ready to support its implementation while pledging efforts to diversify energy routes and reduce reliance on the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, G7 leaders discussed the risks and regulation of artificial intelligence at their summit in France. OpenAI chief Sam Altman and Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei joined the talks focused on issues including AI accountability, misinformation, and the growing role of advanced digital agents. Lionel Messi delivered a stunning performance as Argentina defeated Algeria 3-0 in their World Cup group stage clash, scoring a remarkable hat-trick to equal the tournament's all-time scoring record. The 38-year-old Argentine captain matched Miroslav Klose's tally of 16 World Cup goals and became the oldest player ever to score a World Cup hat-trick. Messi's historic display has boosted Argentina's title defense and silenced questions about his impact on the world stage. And the US Mint has begun producing commemorative coins for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, with limited edition half-dollar, silver dollar, and gold coins set for release this year. Officials say the collection celebrates the tournament being hosted across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.